Hello everyone, my name is Kitetsu and welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to try and keep this video succinct, well for me at least, because I've tried to record this twice now and I just keep going on. With that in mind, just on a slight tangent, I was making a video yesterday and I was going to predict all of the release dates and exactly which figures we were going to see in the Gloomspite Gritz sort of release window, and basically as I was recording that video, this article dropped on the Warhammer community site, and by that time I thought, do you know what, it's so late, I'm just going to do this tomorrow, so here we are. I guess the most observant of you will have noticed that loads of these units became unavailable online about a week or so ago, so you know, we had a really good idea that we were going to see the Mangler Squigs and the Rockgut Troggoths. So on to business. The Gloomspite Gritz are going to release in at least 2 waves, and we've got the dates here, which is exactly when I was predicting them to be. The first one is going to go up for pre-order on the 5th of January, which is Saturday, and the second wave is going to be on the 12th that they'll go up for pre-order. So basically for wave 1, you can pick everything up in store on the same day that you can go and pre-order everything in wave 2. In terms of what we're going to see in wave 1, we're going to have the battle tome, which is obviously going to come in the collector's edition or the standard. You're going to be able to get the war scroll cards. Onto the models, there's going to be the fanatics, which you can build in the 2 different forms. There's going to be the squig hoppers, the squig herds, Scragrot, the terrain and the endless spells, which we've already seen before, and the dice as well, which are obviously themed on squigs. Now everything here from wave 1 we have already seen. We've had a good look at these in the article that came out the other day. The only thing that's slightly different is the squig hoppers here, and the article we had the other day showed these squigs here, and personally I actually think these ones look the best. I absolutely love the design of normal grots, so I think these look brilliant. I imagine we're going to have like the normal squigs as sort of like the weakest form. This unit here is going to be sort of like a middle ground because they've just taken a grot and shoved it on top. And then these guys are going to be more like an elite form, and they're probably going to cost a lot more points. But these are called the Boingrot Bounderzand. They do look cool, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love them. They've got their little helmets and they've got more armor and they've got their cool little lances. But personally, I just like that sort of intermediate unit. I imagine these are going to be significantly better because, let's face it, an individual grot is quite rubbish, and if you just take one of those and put it on top of a squig, it's not really going to add much to the squig. But I'm guessing that seeing as you're seeing these almost like flying into the air, that the movement of the squig hoppers is going to be significantly higher than the squigs. So still a good reason to take them onto the battlefield either way, but I'll always go with what looks better. Interesting thought on these endless spells. They're definitely growing on me at first, you know, I say this a lot, but I wasn't really sure. But I guess, you know, mushrooms, crazy magic cauldrons and moons and spiders is all very much in keeping with the Gloomspite Gritz theme and lore. But something I thought was unusual is that every other endless spell kit that's come out so far as like an expansion has only had 3 endless spells in, whereas this one has 4. So I'm wondering if that's going to alter the price. I really hope not, especially not because I think the one that looks the worst of all is the swarm of spiders. But moving on to the more exciting stuff that we've never seen before, first up we have the Gobbapalooza, and this is a unit of 5 special characters. Believe it or not, we've actually seen some of these before, and I was going to talk about these in the video last night that I never released, but this guy here was standing in the background, and I think this guy was sort of cut off at the edge of the frame of the video where they teased the grots. You know, they do that sneaky thing, Games Workshop, where they hide things all over the place in plain sight, but you don't quite know what they are. Well, basically that's exactly what happened here. In terms of who and what these are, they're basically like a sort of council, by the sounds of it, of wise grots. Like I was saying, an individual grot on its own is pretty weak and rubbish, but if you start applying buffs and extra abilities through units like this, I imagine that they're actually going to become quite formidable, so I'm thinking these are going to be quite an exceptionally important unit for the faction. And look at how good this guy here looks. He's absolutely amazing. And my second favourite is probably this guy over here, or maybe him. They both look really cool, but they are going to be called a Boggle-Eye, a Scaremonger, a Brewgit, a Shrewmancer, and a Spiker. I hope that these aren't going to end up costing too much, because I mean, a Fungoid Cave Shaman on his own is £20, and if you put that next to this guy here, would you say that it looked any better? No, not really. But moving onwards, we've got a new Loon Boss model, and he is the one off the front of the book, so he looks really cool. Got another brand new unit here called the Sneaky Snufflers. These are brand new again, so we've never seen these in a Grots faction in the past, in fantasy or whatever, but they seem to be a cross between a squig and a pig, which I guess works. But similarly to the Gobbapalooza, the Sneaky Snufflers are about buffing the army around you, so they will pick up mushrooms from around the battlefield and they will dish them out to buff up the units. And I think it says, here we go, we can intoxicate the lowliest Moon Clan warriors into fearsome fighters. So again, you know, they're going to be absolutely vital on the battlefield. Interesting that there's going to be a box of 6, because normally units come in multiples of 5. So I'm interested to see if that comes into play with their rules. Then we get onto the Piece de Resistance, the most amazing model I have yet seen for this faction, the Mangler Squigs, and I absolutely love this. I'm trying to throw money at the screen right now because I desperately want this box set. I think it looks absolutely amazing. Again, this was something I was going to predict last night was going to be revealed, but I had no idea the real thing was going to look this good. I'm going to say hands down, this is definitely my favourite model so far in this faction that's been shown. And it even says down here we go, you can even have it with a hero riding on top, so we don't know what that's going to be yet. Maybe it's just going to be like a loon boss or something. I'm guessing you can either take this as like the hero of your army, so it's like a leader with a command ability, or you can have it as just a standard behemoth. But yeah, that's exceptional. Cool. In fact, when I do build up my Grot army, I think there's going to be quite a heavy focus on squigs because, you know, they're easy to paint, they look great, and they've just got that classic iconic feel about them. I guess the only other concern is how much is this going to cost, and we don't relatively know how big it is. I suppose you can look at the Grots riding on top of it and predict it's not like massive, but nevertheless, absolutely love it. Can't wait for it to come out. And next, this article really is crammed full of stuff to talk about, but next we have the brand new Rockgut Troggoths. Again, they look really cool, and I love the fact that their features are retaining that almost goblin-like look about them. They're quite an interesting design overall. They sort of remind me a little bit of like proper folklore trolls from Norway or something like that. I do like them. Again, there's something that's grown on me over time. I used to absolutely love the Lord of the Rings range of figures that Games Workshop made when I was a kid, and my favourite faction of all back then were the Moria goblins, and I kind of love that theme of having these really weak individual goblins, then they bring their trolls along with them, and all of a sudden no one's laughing anymore, and you're thinking, okay, you know, maybe we should take these goblins a little bit more seriously. And I feel like that same thing is appealing to me with this faction, that I don't think the Grots are going to struggle with heavy hitters by any means at all. But more exciting to me than these Rockgut Troggoths is this guy here, and this is a Dankhold Troggoth, and I think his model looks absolutely great. The thing I love most about him is the fact that his face looks so evil, and I'm guessing the model's going to be quite large as well. But yeah, it's insanely detailed. I love the mushrooms growing on him. It's almost like he's been living in a cave for so long that he's almost turned into part of the cave wall. And is that like a cannon wrapped around his neck? I don't know, but it looks great as well. In fact, that's also got mushrooms growing out the end. But yeah, what a great kit. I mean, look at the detail in the head of that hammer and the handle there. It looks really, really cool. And that's basically everything we get to see in the article. So my succinct video ended up being quite long again. Never mind. I'm just going to go with it this time. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm not sure how much time I'm going to have to cover all of the rules previews that Games Workshop are going to be releasing over the next week or so. I am about to go back to work and I've got quite a lot to prepare before then, but I will make sure that I get a video review up of the Battle Tome, which I'm really excited about because so far I think this is going to become one of my absolute favourite factions in all of Age of Sigmar. But otherwise, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys really soon. Make sure you let me know in the comments down below if you are as excited as I am about this faction and which figures you might pick up. But otherwise, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys soon.